Hi everyone, my name is Rina and welcome to my channel. Long time no see, but I'm back. And in this video, I want to show you my art school portfolio. This portfolio I made 3 years ago, even more than that, to basically apply to the art schools. I got accepted into 7 schools and one of them I'm graduating this year. So I want to show you my portfolio and give you some tips, some tricks, some advice that maybe will be helpful. And at the time when I was preparing my art school portfolio, I watched so many videos like this. I just want to make sure that all of these tips and advice in the same video, and hopefully it will help you. These are the schools that I applied to. This is the list. I'm currently in Bennington College. I'm graduating like this year, like 6 months. I'm almost out of here. It's been 4 years. The rest of the schools are art schools. Bennington College is not an art school, it's a liberal art college. And I was also applying for scholarships. I'm an international student. I graduated IB program from UWC school, and I was also applying for scholarships. And all these schools gave me their biggest scholarships, but they're still not big enough, as you can imagine. Like, these schools are really pricey. And I really want to talk about, like, do you even need an art school? In my other videos. For now, let's just focus on the portfolio. I don't have the original screenshots, so these are screenshots from my old recording, so they are maybe not the best quality, but I'll try my best to show you so that it will all make sense. I'm going to talk about the things I included, why I included them. This is just like an autumn illustration. I wanted to have a background, characters, some kind of like little storytelling going on. I was aiming for illustration major. I was actually very interested in character design, illustration, and I'm still interested. So there's that. It's like very dreamy, and I still like this drawing. I mean, it's not perfect, but I did my best for the time. And then the next one is some figure drawing. For this, I think I used some just photos. I don't think that I actually drew it from life. I don't remember, at least. And these are just color pencils. These are really important for your portfolio. Tip number 1, you have to include some sketches. I think the difference between work portfolio and school portfolio, a lot of school portfolios, their requirements actually have the studies, the quick drawings, the sketches. I think it was a really good decision that I included these. And I also wanted to show like the rotation of the character, because I don't think I had actual rotations of any character, but at least I can show that I can draw a figure. Like, it's not a problem for me, you know. And then this one is still life, and I can give you one of my favorite advice on still life that I've heard that helped me so much. So number 1 advice on the still life: don't draw some boring still life. Don't draw an apple with a blank background, because majority of schools, they have as a requirement some kind of drawing from the observation. You can make a composition of some items. You can try to do a little bit of a storytelling through the items. Like, for example, on this picture, it was like my favorite items from my room. Or you can make like a made-up story of some character. You can actually write a description there and like send it with your work. And you can like make up some character who was traveling somewhere, and then they left these items there and then went to this, so this is why they're arranged this way. Like, you know, you can get really creative on this. And this is what people who are admitting students, I guess, really like excited about, I guess, that is not like a boring still life. And then this piece actually is a bit like not normal, I would say, for like art portfolios. This is a collage, and I think you're going to see some more collages in this video. I just basically made a collage from the there's this popular trend challenge on internet. It's called Draw This Again, and basically you redraw the same character again and again. And the first picture is 2013, and then every year I was redrawing this character, and at the end it's 2019. Oh my god, what a time, right? 2019. And that's basically how it looks like. I wanted to show my progress, and I wanted to show like the things that I was doing throughout the years, that I was doing it for a long time already and I was improving. I can't tell if it was a good decision or not to include this. Like, I really felt strongly about this piece. I wanted to include it. I think maybe the presentation should be better, or like the collage part should be maybe better, but I don't really regret putting it on my portfolio. I've never seen anybody put any type of collage like this in their portfolio. And then the next piece is basically the zoomed in version of my last drawing from the challenge. It is just this character, and I wanted again to show the lighting, like the vibe, the background. And then the next one is like a character design sheet, and I was trying to draw like diverse characters. I don't think that I succeeded very well in it. It's definitely not my strongest work, and it was kind of a last minute thing because majority of this work was created for me like a year or something before I started arranging a portfolio, and then this one is actually very, very close to the deadline date. So, and then the next drawing is actually one of my favorite pieces. This is like a dance study from the video from 1 Million Dance Studio on YouTube, and one of my favorite dances they have there. I think this song is called Worth It, and I just wanted to show like I can draw some motion and things like that. I think usually animation portfolios require drawings like this, but I think for illustration it's also like not a bad idea to include this type of work. And then this one, okay, this is kind of a controversial piece. It's again a collage, and I watched so many videos of people who were applying to schools and they were showing the work that they apply with, and there was nothing like this. There were no collages of portraits, but that's my main thing that I do is portraits, and I just wanted to in some way to show like here I have so many of them and they're so different, and they're like, and you know, like I hear this advice a lot, is quality over quantity, especially related to portfolios, but then I don't really regret putting it on my portfolio. I think it was one of the things that maybe made it stand out a bit because I've never seen people put like collages like this. But yeah, I included a lot of drawings in this portfolio. It's like 25, it's like maximum amount. I don't think it will be a good decision for everybody necessarily, but it was not a bad decision for me. I think even though right now I would remove some of the drawings if I would apply now, I don't regret anything. So this is just my sketchbook pages again, scanned, and I don't think that I even scanned these. I think I just took a picture with my iPhone and then like rearranged the like settings or something, and it's basically like I wanted to show I can draw some animals. And then this is a collaborative work that I did with other artists. So there was this project we were doing with other people, and basically one person makes a sketch, another person makes the line art, and I was the last step. I can do whatever I want with it, and this is where we went with this. I put it all in the description. With almost each piece I was putting like a description of what it is, how it was made. I don't think they actually read all of this stuff, but I think it's not that bad to include. The next one is again some figure drawings, and these are not from life, these are not from observation, but if you can try to include some drawings from observation, it will be really beneficial to you, and include a lot of figure drawings and sketches. I think it's amazing to have that. And then this is just another background drawing that I wanted to show that I can just draw a background of some street, some perspective, some light, some, you know, things like that. This one again, the page where I had portraits and some animals. I don't even know, like right now I would not include this page with these girls. I would not do it. The page with the animals, kind of cute, but I don't think it's my best piece in this one. This one I would also remove, but this is basically my like another background drawing of like scenery, cityscapes. And then this, I wanted to show that I can draw different body types, different shapes, even though it's not that different. And then the other page is emotions. This is like a little bit of cartoony style, not actually the style that I often use, but I wanted to show at least something. I think right now if I would do this, I would do it a little bit differently, but I think it's not a bad idea to include some kind of sketch or study with like different emotions, with character maybe looking different ways, like showing the head in different like angles or something like that. This is the food drawing. I love food illustration. I love it. It's amazing. And this one of the pieces I actually really love. It was that time when I already started using my iPad a lot for drawing, and I just at that moment figure out my brushes. I found really good brushes for myself that actually started working for me, and I was like having so much fun drawing this. It was amazing. I still like this work. I think it's not that bad. This one I would remove right now. So I felt kind of guilty for having so much digital work. Most of my work in this portfolio is digital illustration, and I felt guilty about it. I was like, all of these videos, they have traditional work on canvases, on like paper, like all this stuff, and I was like, I'm going to try to make something traditional. So I was using like a watercolor and some pen, and I don't remember what was that, but I tried to draw like self-portrait, but then in different stages of my life. And it's basically like how many different versions of myself there were and how many possible other versions there are out there. And like, I don't know where I was going with it. I don't like this drawing at all, and I would not keep it to be honest. I was trying to be like really conceptual and philosophical about something. And then this is just some feet studies and skulls of animals. I thought this was important to include. I saw some of the listings of some of the schools specifically have like drawings of hands and feet you have to include, and like figure drawings in general, but there were actually like these specific like pieces like of body or like something. This one, I think it was some kind of movement against domestic violence, and I was like taking part in it, and I saw so many artists making work about it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to do myself, but I don't really like this work. I think the lighting is good here, and I like the colors and stuff, but it's too direct. Like, I wouldn't put any writing on the face right now. I would rearrange it a little bit, change composition a little bit, but there's like too much going on. I think it's too like, yeah, I would change it, but I don't know. There's that. Okay, this piece, again, something that I did not see anybody include ever, but this was my personal project, and it's a very long story, but basically me and my bestie, like, I don't know, it was like 6 years ago or something. We were having this project, like this huge project we were working on together. It was like a shop where we create custom books, basically. And at some point we actually hired other artists and writers to help us with this. And we had a manager and stuff. And basically how it worked, we had a public page with like 15,000 people, or I don't remember. It was a lot of people, and we had clients almost all the time. And basically people, like, they have their favorite, we were basically writing fan fiction. Some people have their favorite characters, or they want to give like a gift for a wedding or birthday to this person about this person and their favorite character, for example, or something like that. And we were helping with that. We were making illustrations, book covers and all that. This is what it looks like. This is just a small amount of the stuff that we printed that I was also working on, and I wanted to show it in some way. I wanted to show the process. I wanted to write a little bit about how it was working. It was a little bit tricky to show, but that's how it was. I don't think I would show it like this at this point. I think I would just include like this picture or like some like other image, but not all of this stuff. Make it a little bit easier to understand. And this is from real life. This is drawings of my dog. I miss her so much, but she's super cute. She's super playful and nice baby, and I wanted to also include her in this portfolio. And it was really tricky to draw from like life. I don't draw animals from life very often, so it was really nice exercise. I really recommend. And then this was, I wanted to start making like mini comics, but I wasn't very consistent about it. I was overcomplicating everything, but still this is one of the mini comics that I made. And then on top, again, it's a collage. On top there's my sketches and process. I really wanted to show the final product plus the process and sketches, but I couldn't figure out the way to put it in a portfolio so it doesn't take a lot of space, you know. So I was making these collages. I think it's not a bad idea, but there are ways I think to make it better. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And then this is a study of the hands that is really important to include. Draw hands from different angles. I would actually include some more bigger drawings at this point, and maybe some color drawings. And then again, this is a collage again. These are my character designs. I was taking classes, I was taking courses and all that, so I was trying to come up with different designs, and these are two characters that I was designing. The first one is like a matryoshka, it's like a doll, like a Russian doll character, and then another one is like a ninja girl. I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, that's that. And then this one is one of my characters, and he is like sitting alone in a room. I was assuming it was like a Halloween party or something, and there's like a little story I wrote about it, some writing with this work. Basically it was about how like it's okay to have time alone, even if you can't hang out with somebody, even if it's a holiday. Take your time by yourself and it's fine. You know, I was trying to be like cute about it. I don't know what I was trying to do with it. That was my last piece. So right now I want to talk about some tips that I can give you. First of all, look at the requirements of your school. I think majority of the schools have more or less same requirements. I think also depending on your major, if you want to apply to different majors, you will have additional tasks to do, or like additional pieces that you should include in a portfolio. Like if you're interested in animation or studio art or something. I just made a list of stuff that I wanted to include. I will also put it here. There might be some differences, so look it up. Next tip I want to give you, kind of related to the previous one, show the range and diversity of your work. Maybe like for me it was not in materials, but it was in subject matters. I wanted to show like sketches. I wanted to show how I draw figures, like faces, backgrounds, stories, objects, you know, different things like that. Show maybe different styles or techniques or mediums. Even though you have obviously your favorite one or the one you're good at, it's good to include something else. It's not like all anime drawings or something. You should be like more diverse about that. And then again, like quality over quantity. Most of this advice I hear, the less is the more, you know, like you shouldn't include like the whole 25 full pieces if you don't have enough, if it's maybe not the strongest work, because you will be judged by your worst piece in the portfolio. So you should be careful about that. And even now I'm looking at this like with a fresh side, I would remove some of the drawings, honestly. But again, I don't really regret putting a lot of drawings, and I felt complete within myself when I was submitting it. I felt satisfied with it, so maybe that's a good thing, but you should think for yourself and also try to include something that is like shows you a lot, shows your interest and your passions, you know. So now let's talk a little bit about the arrangement of the works. You should start with your strongest piece, put also the strongest, one of other strongest pieces in the middle, and then another strong piece at the end. So for me it was the first drawing, like Autumn Street, you remember, with two characters, the first one, and then I had some like good works in the middle, I think, and then at the end again like a full illustration, so that you start strong and then you don't put like worse and worse and worse and worse work, you know. Or you shouldn't put your strongest piece at the end and in the beginning like so, because if they start scrolling through your work and in the beginning it's not that good, I assume sometimes they really take like 5 seconds per person. Like it's a possibility, you know. So you should have this balance. Now also another advice, tell a story. Try to have like a storytelling moment to your portfolio, like maybe about your characters. A lot of people have like OCs and stuff like that. Next one, important advice. Maybe you already heard it, but try to include both sketches, studies, and finished work. If you will have just unfinished work in the portfolio, it's not a good thing. You should have like at least half of it finished work, and then another half I would say is studies. Try to mix it up and like show that your process, how you work, how your brain works. I think it's very important like to show that you have this technique and you can draw like something really quick in a sufficient way, and then something really finished and polished. And then another thing I wanted to include, try to show your process. Like if you can take pictures of the stages of your work or something, again, like I made collages, but you can try to show it in some other ways. I think it's not a bad decision to try to be like creative about it and show your progress or process, or just describe the process of your work in the description or something. So think about that. Explain your intentions, like have some sort of description for your work. Put the title, or if there's no title, put untitles. You can put a medium, the size. Most of my work is digital, so I was putting actually the size of my canvas, like 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels, and then I was putting the software I was using to make it. So I think it's also good if you just have digital work that you can show that, you see, I'm working with digital software, these are the programs that I use. It will be even better. I think you should be detailed and specific about it, and try to ask somebody about an opinion, the outside person, maybe who doesn't even know you that well. You know, it's really going to be a moment out of your comfort zone. If you can't go to the college, get a portfolio critique boutique there, but you can find somebody online or in your school somewhere, a person who knows what they talk about, who can talk to you about this. I remember like this, for me it was out of my comfort zone moment, because I was texting to this amazing Instagram artist at some point, and this person was like really amazing, and I was really worried to ask about it, but I was like, is there any way for you and me to maybe look at my portfolio for a bit? You don't even have to take a lot of time, just like give me your first impression or like some advice or something. We actually zoomed with that person, and it was amazing because he was like really detailed about comments like on my work, and like it was amazing because like I didn't even expect that, but I was really shy, but I was happy that I overcame my fear, followed his advice, and I think it became even better afterwards. Remember that the portfolio is like a representation of your artistic abilities and your potential. You don't have to be perfect, because nobody is perfect. We're going to school, like we're applying to school. We don't have to be perfect, but you should show your passion, your interest. Be thoughtful in the selection of your work and present your work in the way that reflects your passion, your dedication, and your interest. Okay, to be honest, maybe somebody was going to like be really mad at me for saying this. As an international student, I find it kind of not that hard to get into the US art schools. I think that some of these schools are, pretty competitive, but again, like they don't really require a lot of technical academic work. You know, these are things that you can technically learn yourself. I believe in you, you can do it, and